Map game.
Map game?
Map game.
Map
Map
game.
game.
Map
Jouer.
game.
Map game.
Map game.
Map game.
Map game.
Map game.
Jouer la carte.
Hello!
Map game.
Map
Map game!
Jouer.
Jouer carte.
Idiot.
Oh my god. You've ruined our history, like our geography credentials already.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
I reserve the right to do that with, I say,
Broke the fourth wall already.
Welcome
So
to
map
Map
game.
Game.
So what is it?
so what
What is Map Game?
I mean, I feel it's for Luke Loyola to explain that one because this was your little side,
Yeah.
side hustle.
Their brainchild.
Me and Luke, whilst waiting for a game to update once, started asking each other increasingly ridiculous questions with regards to maps. We
Because
started off like
it was the only thing we could access whilst our internet was
Yeah.
busy.
and I think we started off with just like show me a cool building, and then it ended up being if you had the power of invincibility, where would you jump off of? And it was intense arguments and very important, like fundamentally, like like important. People need this. These questions fundamentally at their core need to be answered. And who better than us, the map scholars?
Who more qualified than thee?
From
Not
every
a
corner
single
of the
geography
earth.
qualification between us, but we're the guys to sort this shit out.
But with the
We've
internet
been
at our
places.
disposal.
I know, yeah. Google Maps at our disposal. It has been like an MVP. Google, this is all for you, by the way. MVP of this game is Google Maps.
Yes, we are the Google scholars.
Google scholars, experts at all things ridiculous on Google Maps, and we are going to be answering some very important questions with regards to maps today. We have 5 predetermined questions which were given to us last week, and all of us have just spent days upon days just sweating, pencil in hand, typewriters, just typing on typewriters, ding, and just really seriously considering every one of these.
I don't know about you guys,
questions.
but for the first time in about 15 years, I went to a library. So
Is that actually true?
no, it's not true.
That's good because I'm feeling.
Of course, it's not true.
I'm feeling underqualified if that's the case.
I don't know where the nearest library is.
I'm not
I
gonna lie.
was at every
should
one of
have
these
carried on that.
locations.
You should have pushed
Yeah,
that,
you should have
absolutely.
100%.
Yeah,
Till
went
the
to a
end.
library. 3 books. I had fines of £2,000 from when I was 6.
Inhaled the encyclopedia. Good time,
Yeah, and we've just been like racking our brains all week to try and solve these questions, and I'm not sure about you guys. I feel like I did a decent job of it. Some of them maybe more than others. I'll readily admit that some of these questions I found more difficult than others. Funnily enough, the more ludicrous questions I found easier, but like you guys know me by now, that's sort of like...
I think the most ironic thing for me was the question that I proposed. I found the most challenging.
I assume if you were propping a question, you kind of already.
Yeah.
For the record, my question was a joke. It was intended as a joke, and it's on there now. It's on the board.
It's an important question to. I mean, like you can't. We can't limit ourselves with our questions to like what is appropriate, and these questions need to be answered regardless of their
Yeah,
sort of
loving
creed.
the.
No
we don't
one
know
question
when
is better
somebody's
than the
going to
other.
need to know this stuff.
I'm loving
Absolutely.
the teasy way we're dancing around the actual content of the questions because that's all for later. That's the. We're just
Stay tuned to find out more.
Stay tuned, and we've got 5
Like and subscribe,
excellent
like and
questions.
I like the idea that at the end of this we could self-publish a book with the answers to all these questions.
Absolutely.
As well. Big fan of it.
now, once
your
it's been, like,
geography
cartographically
questions
verified by our
answered. That's what the
musings.
book is about.
Yes, by not geographers.
But the other important thing that I think we should think is that these questions can only have one answer. I mean, the 4 of us have tried our very best to answer the question, but at the end of the day, we all have to determine, firstly, whether the question was appropriately answered, and secondly, whether one of us did so. So whether one of us successfully answered that question by every metric, like be all, end all, full stop. You ask that question in future, and one of us will go, actually, I know the answer to this one because Phil suggested this.
Yeah. We couldn't become an expert on nothing, don't we? We essentially like, well, what's the most isolated part of the world?
We're looking for objectivity, aren't we? That's what we're looking for. These are subjective questions, and we're looking to actually answer them.
Yeah, 100%. Like, we need to be able to, like, if someone asks these questions at a party and we answer with it, that answer, they just go, yep, let's move on.
It's like, what do they call it? It's like pub.
Trivia.
Trivia. Not, yeah.
What do you mean?
Word for it.
That's what that'll be us, though. We'll be in pubs going,
nuggets.
Did you ask where's the best place to put down a dog? Well, it's here. That's it. The end.
I can't believe we didn't go for that one.
I know. That is coming.
Yeah, future.
I didn't
future
want
episode.
I didn't want to like start it off with like, me crying about a dead dog I had as a child. That was not a good look. This is
Did you find a good place to bury it?
Yeah, obviously.
You'll have one in the future. Once we're done with it.
It's got the coordinate saved.
It's already in there. It's one of my volcanoes. Like the Ring of Mordor. I was just gonna throw spoiler. There's gonna be volcanoes, guys.
I believe that's question 1, isn't it? So
yeah.
A little amuse bouche.
Yeah.
It is amusing.
Phil's rectified his French credentials. Good job, Phil. And on the subject of question 1, should we move on to question 1?
Yeah, I think so. It's easy enough.
Let's do it. Question 1.
Question 1 is, what is the most arousing volcano? The most arousing volcano. This question was suggested by a friend of ours who sadly couldn't be here today, Adam Burgess. He will be here next time, and he has all the credentials, like we have, to answer these questions. But the most arousing volcano. So before we start, how did you guys find this question? I'll be honest, I found this one to be the hardest out of all of them.
No pun intended.
Way. Well, mostly because in my mind, volcanoes are all the same shape. So they're all arousing to me because they're kind of shaped like a boob. So
interesting you should say that.
That's also interesting. Again, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. You've made a bold claim. Let's see what happens.
So this all these answers
like
coming from
sort
the
of
male
lactating?
gaze a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Philly.
Well, he said boob. It erupts. Where do you want to go with it? I don't. It's a natural. It's a natural progression.
And we do have a set order for these things. It's not alphabetical. It is.
It used to be
random. It used to be, and then
I've heard it when it was alphabetical.
I don't know where the change happened. To be honest,
as someone who's never played this game before, I'm happy to go first.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Actually, maybe me and Luke should have done it, but no, we're going to follow.
Well, we're here now.
sliding into that.
You've done your menus and your.
I put us in a certain position, and that ended up determining who went first.
I'm very well off these, which, to be fair, at least I'm bringing a fresh eye to proceedings, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
We can tell you if you're doing it wrong or right immediately.
Yeah. Oh, you messed up.
Me and Luke are arbiters of this game, and we're going to be like,
Oh, he's not the right leg. Look, he's not map game before.
sorry, Phil, you're not map game material.
I know for a fact that my first answer arouses Luke, so there's no denying that one.
Ooh, a little tease. Right, should we delve into it?
Let's do it.
Yeah, so absolutely. So the first
Press some buttons, Jolla.
We should 100%.
Press them.
So I really should have gone for the original order because now I have to like do things in a different order than was originally intended. But alas,
There I
so
am.
Philip,
With the mic, it's got a little mic icon there, which means only I can talk. If you can raise your hand before interrupting, that'd be great, and I'll decide whether or not you're allowed to join in. The other, you may go.
It's like a lecture.
So Phil, if you'd like to begin.
Yeah, I mean, as we cycle in to the southern
Look at
hemisphere.
this.
Transition.
Where are we going?
Where are we going? We're going to the southern hemisphere, gentlemen. This is a
Ooh.
little place called New Zealand,
Oh,
where they filmed a trilogy of films known as Lord of the Rings trilogy. And this.
Let me just go change my pants.
never He's getting excited already. This particular mountain range was housed the location for Mordor / Mount Doom. Image 1, please, Yola. So this is, I think it's the Tonga. Apologies for our New Zealand followers, but I think it's the Tongariro National Park where this was filmed.
Okay, yeah. I see what you've done here, Phil. I see the tactic you're going for.
Yes, sir.
You have very much appealed for your audience, Phil.
Yeah.
I mean, if your audience is me, this is exactly the way to go.
Go sorry. No, sorry. After you.
I was just saying. So yeah, I can see what you've done here. You've immediately appealed to one of the four of us in trying to win over this immediate crowd. Which fair play to you. Having said that, there's going to be a lot more people along the lines of Luke out there who will probably be sat there also creaming in the pants right now.
I think
it's
going to be a fair cross section of our audience that's kind of into that Lord of the Rings vibe.
So I think if you're talking about rousing somebody with a volcano,
you've just succeeded.
Using Mount Doom is probably going to do that for quite a big chunk of people.
Mount Doom, I think.
The thing is, though, I mean, this is it's like a national park, though. It's not just a singular volcano. There's candy for other folk out there, and if you can cue image 2, please, Yola. This particular vulval lip is you can see Mount Doom in the background there. It's part of the same range.
I can see what you did, Phil, and now you're talking my language. As someone who has no idea what Mount Doom is,
same mountain range
is spot on.
Same little. You can incorporate that into the same hike on a day out in New Zealand.
You're covering all the bases.
Yeah, exactly. So I think.
Yeah, so like those of you who are like asexual and watch Lord of the Rings, aroused by one of the mountains. Me, the sexual being who's never watched Lord of the Rings. Hell yeah, here we go. I'm all for this. Luke, I'll see you in a second. I'm going to another part. So it begs the question. How did you know about that, Phil?
Sorry.
Phil is now the software webcam utility.
Mr. Webcam Utility.
It's because I am
version 1.02.
I am the internet. That's
at least he's current. At least he's
This
current.
is the internet closing down on your scandalous picture.
Use a voice mod on you. I want full robot voice.
I thought I would have the technical issues.
This is where you're born, Phil. Straight from the earth.
Now, in organising these pictures, in organising these pictures, this is the one that stuck with me for the most. I remember this.
This is the one that landed.
And I was, and originally I was like, what? Like I wasn't organising them by question originally, and then as soon as I saw this one, I was like, I know exactly the answer that this one is trying for. I knew the question it was going for essentially. So, well done, Philly. Well done. Here he is. There he is.
So yeah, what I want to know, Phil, is did you kind of think about the Mount Doom aspect first, and that'd be cool, and then stumbled on this picture of some?
It depends how far into the process you want to go here.
Right. Okay.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, I typed in vulva volcano.
That's a Google whack.
This picture turned up. I thought, that's perfect. And then I did a little bit of research as to where it was, and it's part of the mountain range of Mount Doom, which was
which is very, very happy.
And that is map game.
Yeah.
That's map game.
That is map game. Like oh my god! For someone who's not played the game before, you nailed that first question. Good job, buddy. Like excellently done. Excellently done. Well done.
Any further questions?
Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah. Okay.
How happy were you with that?
I mean, there was different options, but that was the nicest one. I thought that was the.
I mean, there's no doubt that's the nicest one. Yeah, you did excellently. Very well done, mate. Very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think an applause is actually quite appropriate. This applause is quite appropriate.
Adam, don't applaud.
Yeah, I'll hold my applause until the end.
Good map game.
Good
right.
map.
Are we gonna? Are you passing the baton, Phil? Would you like to see
I'm happy for the mic to pass around. Yeah.
And here it goes. That is me. So we're still on the this one here. I will just get mine up very quickly. But mine is, I'll readily admit, this is my weakest one. Readily admit it. The game is to answer the questions. I don't think I did like the best at answering this question, but I tried. So mine.
We will judge.
Now I might be stretching it. I might be stretch.
Do you wanna? Can you zoom out? So
let's zoom out.
Absolutely.
Good show.
See where we are in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like we got all the way back to the UK there, did we?
Not quite. So we are in
Iceland.
A place called Landmannalaugar Ganguleid, or Landmannalaugar, aka People's Pools. It's located in Iceland's Fjalabak Nature Reserve in the Highlands. Now, I readily admit that I might be stretching it a bit here. I've gone for a volcanic structure rather than an actual volcano. So, points can be taken away from me for that. Because I feel like, as I said earlier...
Whoa. Stop taking points from yourself. That's our job.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay,
defend yourself.
Okay. I think it's worthwhile. Okay, so mostly because the volcanoes are inherently all the same shape, and secondly because all volcanoes are inherently arousing, I've gone for an entry... Oh my god, that was loud. Sorry, something just popped up on my screen there. The People's Pools, located in Iceland's Fjalabak Nature Reserves in the Highland. And I feel like the image does it more justice, so I'm just going to show you the image right now. There we go. It's a special rock structure that is in a certain
very
shape.
Phallic.
That's
very
phallic. And like when you talk about...
Are you saying it's a volcano?
I have absolutely zero sense of scale here. Like I feel like that could be sort of 1,000 feet high, or I could sort of stand next to it and kind of put my hand on top. I have no way of judging.
It is very, very tall. And as you can see, it's I took the term arousing very seriously. Like that term arousing. I thought, what is more arousing than a penis to some people, to half the population? But also, it's like it's a phallic representation of arousal. It is in and of itself arousal.
I don't know why you've been talking it down so much, man.
It's not too bad. I mean, it's like it doesn't have a popular movie volcano nearby.
Yet.
Granted. Yet. Script pending.
Just wait for Peter Jackson to see this picture.
And then the hobbits went to the penis rock. I've written, it resembles my penis. The resemblance is uncanny, and what is more arousing than one's own penis? Honestly, sometimes I just stand naked in front of a mirror and just look at it for hours on end. It's amazing. But yeah, it's a penis-shaped rock. Questions?
Did you Google phallic volcano, or
yeah.
you had a look for a series of phallic volcanoes, or was that the only one that's...
So my Google search took me asking it where like a phallic shaped volcanoes was like my generic search, and it showed me a lot of penis shaped volcanic structures, and I genuinely thought that this was the best of them, because some of the other ones were like a real stretch. Like some of them were like, yeah, that's not penis shaped, that's more pole shaped, but this has got that like slight arch that my penis does.
The curve.
So I thought,
the curve
is. Yeah, the curve makes it, I think. The curve is absolutely there. The curve is great.
on a separate note, that is something I was thinking of quite a bit while I was doing it, is just what is Google going to think I'm doing? Like, all of a sudden it's like, oh, Adam's had a sudden breakdown. Like what? We had like a steady stream of data that like had stuff that Adam was interested in, and then all of a sudden, what the fuck has happened?
You're gonna get a message like you do with on Netflix, like, "You okay, Adam?" Straight from Google.
No, he's just gonna be put on some lists immediately.
If you're having a nervous breakdown, here are services you can access.
You're going to be trying to book a ticket to Iceland and they won't let you because of your Google searches.
Yeah. Iceland.
I like it. Interesting entry. Can I quickly ask, are we going to are we tearing each other's down now, or are we doing it at the end once all of
it? Our presentation, a few initial comments, and then
on, you bitch.
Oh,
yeah, I think After each question.
Yeah, okay. I'm coming
Are we
for
ready
you, Yolsey.
We're ready
Bring
to jump on.
Yeah,
pass
absolutely.
the baton.
Adam, the mic is yours. I
Thank
am
you.
just going to go back to our classic.
So, slightly different mindset with mine. So we're jumping over to Alabama. I don't know what you're thinking. Not many volcanoes in downtown rural Alabama.
That's what I was thinking of.
And you'll see there, not anything there that you would probably consider. Well, this is where I'm going to find an arousing volcano in the middle of Birmingham, Alabama. So Yola, if you could just jump to the picture for me.
Absolutely.
You can see the types that I've taken. So this is Volcano Gentlemen's Club in Birmingham, Alabama. Now, I don't have any great sort of preamble like about it being featured in the Lord of the Rings movies or anything like that. And honestly, it's frustrating because I can't tell you much about
I'm sure
it.
it is frustrating.
We're not there
Okay,
right
no,
now.
Because it doesn't have a website, so I can't tell you much about it. What I can tell you is that it got 4.4 stars on its Google reviews, with some quite tasteful comments from some of its regular clientele.
Oh my gosh.
Any particular patrons that work there that were well received? Or
I'm gonna respect their privacy, Phil, and not out them.
leave Crystal out of it.
It's, a,
Yeah.
it's
I'll
about
leave
it's about the
Chardonnay alone.
volcano, not the. Yeah.
I can't remember if I've got one more picture. I can't think because I think I just sent you this slideshow. There might be one more, which is just quite.
I don't, unfortunately. I only have
Okay,
one
that's fine.
image.
So
I'm
I think it was
sorry,
just another one of like a neon sign inside, I think. But yeah, so
I could
if
get
you
one.
ever in the American South, then do swing by.
That is an undeniably arousing volcano. Can't you?
That's
I-
exactly.
You cannot go wrong with that entry. Fundamentally, like I think it hits every single point of the question, and that is very very well done. I would counterpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like that? You seem to be excluding half the populace of the Earth here. Maybe that has a certain clientele to it. Or do they have a variety of shows? Did that come up in the actual Google search?
Again, no website, so I couldn't properly kind of quantify that for you, to be honest.
What I'm fundamentally asking is, do they have a donkey show, and when is it?
Sure they do. I'm sure they do. It's probably like the Tuesday morning slot or something.
Which is when this picture was taken, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, if we focus in on the car park, that's a decent amount of patrons for a daylight gentleman's
It's not
club.
too bad, is it?
In the day, yeah.
Oh, it's not doing that as well.
I just look. There's nothing going on. It doesn't even look like it's in kind of a big busy like night spot. There's like no other bars or clubs that I can see. It's just
Yeah,
stick it there.
this
Stick it
is well,
it's like hairdressers,
African hair
braiding.
and then, yeah. I mean,
Look, it's just shops and stuff, and then on the end, volcanoes.
There we go, bush. Yeah, and it's got its own car park, which is handy. You know what I mean? Like, so many of them don't have car parks. You have to park like round
Parking
the
at the
corner,
rear.
walk miles. And a nice little sign at the end there suggests you have hope.
That's what you want to see when you come out of there after a few hours.
I know, yeah. That's when, like,
What am I doing?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. So you
Thank
get
you.
aroused, and then you get like a second lease on life somehow.
Yeah. So that was my my entry for the.
It is a very fantastic entry. I think that I'm borderline that might take the cake there.
Save
It's
that
a very
for later.
hey, easy.
I will hand this baton over to Master Luke.
Luke Williams.
Let's roll.
And Luke Williams has this to show us. And 1 second. Here we go on our journey. Where are we going, Luke Williams?
Oh, across the sea,
Deep into the Pacific Ocean.
Ooh, very interesting. Water.
Zoom out, my friend, so you can see where we are.
I mean, it's not the most engaging on a Google Maps view. If I'm honest.
No, that's why I wanted to zoom out. There's a lot of blue. Zoom out a bit more and move to the right if you can. Yep. So this is Tamu Massif. This is the biggest volcano in the world. It's an underwater volcano. Therefore, it's always wet. Straight away. And then just to add insult to injury, or injury to insult rather, it's located within the Ring of Fire. See this ridge that goes round the globe there? This is the Ring of Fire. These are all active volcanoes. I mean,
with the Mariana Trenches, Luke. I know where that is, my friend. I know all about the Ring of Fire.
So it's a very volcanically active site, but the Tamu Massif is a seamount in the northwest Pacific Ocean, sitting atop a triple junction of mid-ocean ridges. It's and this was the
Give me some facts, mate. Give us some facts.
The massif covers an area of 553,000 square kilometers, or 214,000 square miles, just to convert it nicely. It's 6,500 feet below the surface of the ocean. Therefore, it is very deep. And being so close to the core of the earth, it is very hot.
So what we're saying is it's deep, hot, and wet. Is what we're saying.
And it's a volcano.
Massive.
Yeah. Was it a rousing volcano or disturbing volcano? Because I'm disturbed.
Well, you tell me. Look down, and there's your answer.
Would you like me to represent your show your image, Luke Williams?
Yeah, sure.
See that
is an eruption from the Tamu Massif in the ocean.
Well, so is that underwater? Or is that a picture from the surface?
That's a picture from the surface.
Wow.
An eruption.
Well, fair play. Can I add a little sort of tidbit about myself? Is that I've been to a volcano on the Ring of Fire, and I sandboarded down it, and I was aroused throughout it all.
Just to add some points to Luke's game. Luke, do you have anything facts or figures wise in comparison to like Mount Everest or the Statue of Liberty? They seem to measure these things in. Like
Everest, I believe, is something about 8,000 feet tall. Hang on, wait.
Of measurements.
Yeah, let me give you a nice unit of measurement. So Everest is 29,000 feet.
Sorry.
I believe, and this is 14,000. It's not as big as Everest, but Everest isn't a volcano, is it?
Oh, yeah, no, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's biggest volcano, not mountain.
Okay, yeah, sorry, that's my bad. That's cool, man.
Very
a fan
well
of the description. The description makes it.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. So should we deliberate on this question a bit?
I think we need to, don't we?
I feel like if we've not got it this time, we need a deliberate transition. Maybe a deliberate jingle that goes past the screen as we transition into deliberation mode.
And you want me to lose my sanity? Is that what you're aiming for?
He's saying Yellow's not done enough work.
These are there are like 9 or 10 spinning plates around here.
Pull a finger out, mate.
Hell
yeah, Luke. Yeah, we'll do another spinning plate. That's fine. I have found a cool little way of getting more pictures than is necessary. So there's that at the very least. But yeah, the question is the most important thing.
So I mean, I don't know how we want to do this. Does anyone have do we have like an initial? Is it like an initial vote? Like, do we sort of say what's everyone's gut feeling to start with? I don't know.
I mean, Luke is a primary school teacher, as I was, and in primary schools we go 2 stars and a wish. So you point out 2 really good things about every single one of them, and you go for one thing that you kind of wish it was, and it kind of wasn't. And I think if we sort of,
I'm just conscious that we could be here for about 9 hours.
That's true, yeah. But
we've done one question.
It's tend to be like bullet points. Oh my god, yeah, it is 9:30 and we've done one question. Yeah, I mean, I like Phil's because it covered 2 aspects, but I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say like Lord of the Rings was inherently arousing, but that's my opinion. Although, like, you know, the second image truly delivered. And if we're going for natural landmasses, that is amazing.
It is, but we're not going for natural landmasses. We're going for volcanoes, and Mount Doom is a volcano. But the vulvary bit,
fair point.
I don't believe it's countable.
I don't think
there's no evidence
that
presented.
I believe that is capable of eruption. I don't know why you're a volcano.
Well,
I don't know about you guys, but in my experience,
hard facts. That wasn't in your defence case. I was not made aware that this.
Well, we can all stumble around on Google for 30 seconds, Luke, but if I recall correctly, and I'm happy to do some follow-up work if that's what's required, I think that is capable of eruption.
if we're saying that part was also active in a volcanic sense, then I think it's a no-brainer for me. Phil wins that one hands down.
But equally, we said volcano, not volcanic range. We didn't say range. We said volcano.
And we didn't even say.
We found, didn't we, Ola, that the difficulty was the minutiae of the question. If your question, it has to be specific to the question. And I don't think you can count that because it's not a range. Mount Doom is the volcano, and whilst Lord of the Rings is arousing in its ethereal sense, it's.
I don't remember when you were worried that Luke might take this too seriously. I'm willing to concede that there's too much volcano in my answer. That seems unfair.
I'm doing a tertiary Google here, and I fucking love this. Is someone has like reviewed their hike up to this thing, and he said totally hiked up to the upper base of Mount Nuguruho and back for shits and giggles. Somehow missed this glorious rock twat. Which I fucking love that. Heavily to the guy.
Fantastic.
How vulgar. Love it.
Absolutely. That is brilliant. Good job. My vote, and if we are like going for the vote system, which I don't necessarily mind, I say if you take the context of the words of the question and which one answered it more succinctly and perfectly, I'd say Adams. I would, because we said the word volcano. We didn't inherently say the mountainous formation referred to as a volcano. We just said the word volcano, and that was an establishment specifically made to arouse you that was called a volcano.
I think that's
I
hard to
agree,
argue against
if I'm
that,
honest with you. I do think that I put forward a really good case, but I remember in our original games, we very much awarded thinking outside of the box. That was very big in the initial games.
That's going to bode well for me in the remainder of this game, if that's the rule set. I mean, I am playing to win, if I'm honest. So I'll take that.
No. Now, okay, so we've all established that Adams was our favourite. Here's the follow-up question. Does it definitively answer that question? Can we say that question has been put to bed? I say yes. Alternative, like, unless you find like another gentleman's club that was also called Volcano, then there's like
better rating.
Yeah, and then it has a better rating.
It's like a 4.5, for example.
But like, I feel like that's that's like as Luke said, minutia. That is because the fundamental core question is that is a volcano.
An arousing volcano.
Is it the most though? As Phil said, if there's one that's rated better, I would say that one was the most.
I mean, yeah, it's 4.4 out of 5, so it's pretty good.
But the problem is if we are saying if there's a better one, but none of us put forward a better one. So in the case of the 4 that we've got, Adams is the clear choice.
I concede for that. I think Adam has asked. The question was asked, and I think Adam has answered it.
I agree.
Second.
There are no seconds in map game, Phil.
No seconds in map game.
There are only winners and
your
losers.
Statement.
Yeah,
I was seconding the statement. I wasn't playing it.
I'm second.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going second.
Do I get points for that?
Second the best.
And with that, time permitting, I think everyone is okay for moving on to question 2. Are we okay for moving on to question 2?
Yes.
We don't necessarily have to cover all the questions in this one night. We've got questions to move on to later if needs be. And question 2 is most likely place to find a mythical creature. This one was presented by Luke Williams. Luke Williams, how did you find answering this question?
Incredibly enjoyable.
Did you already have something in mind when you told us the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I was worried about.
As in,
This is the one that concerns me.
I didn't have an answer, but I had an idea of what I was going to go. You know, I moan and preach on about how this fantasy and things are like my favourite genres or anything, and I think I know enough about mythical creatures and cryptidy type things that I had an idea of where I was going from, and to be honest, I was very methodical about how I went about it, personally.
Me and Phil had half a conversation about this the other day, and my prediction for this is that at some point during this, you're going to mention like humidity levels or something like that.
I mean, he's already dropped the cryptids.
Not one mention of humidity. Sorry to disappoint.
Fair enough. Something along those lines, though. You know what I mean.
There is no moistness in this question.
No moist. I enjoyed answering this one. I have to admit, I quite enjoyed it. Oh, I've just noticed something.
I struggled with this one.
There I am. Yeah, did you struggle with this one?
Yeah, I think because again, I was trying to. Being honest, I think with this one, I was trying to do something that I know would annoy Luke. And I struggled doing that, so I've probably failed this one.
You know what annoys Luke is beating him, and I fucking think I've beaten him on this one.
Okay, let's crack on.
Let's crack on. Absolutely. Let's
always
go.
Me. Always me.
Was it always Phil?
Always you. Yeah, always
Same order.
Phil.
Okay, right, fine. Okay.
I don't want it to be, but I think that's just
that's established.
So
I
quite like this. This is quite interesting because of where Luke's last answer left us is very close to where my answer is going to take you.
Let's
you can engage coordinates.
Ooh, very, very close.
Oh no! And again, just a lot of blue shit.
Okay, let's not zoom in that close, shall we?
I
we are
believe
quite near some islands, Guam.
Guam, near Guam, off the east coast of the Philippines. This is the deepest part of the ocean, known as the Challenger Deep, as I think Luke might have referenced that earlier, and the Marianas Coast that I hadn't mentioned. But going to sort of 11,000 meters deep, I believe, at the deepest level. And just the insane kind of pressure down there. The creatures that survive down there are surely mythical. That's all I've got.
Oh, interesting.
But
let's.
I mean, you've definitely got a very good case for that in and of itself, because I mean, mythical creature, it's going to be somewhere where nobody is.
I can give you some examples of the life down there. So you can pop some image one, please. Just the first image of the actual deeps themselves, and then image two, please, Yola. This is the type of shit that lives down there.
Oh, type of shit.
And this apparently the ocean is like only 20% explored, maybe even less. So I can only assume.
Yeah, you've got your classic thing of us knowing more about the surface of the moon than Mars than we do about the rest of the ocean and stuff.
So I think the most likely place to find a mythical creature would be the area of the Earth that is least explored.
Solid answer.
Solid answer.
Yeah, I was gonna have you over the definition of the mythical thing, but I think you saved yourself there. I really think that
because this isn't technically. So for example, this and image 3, please, Yola, isn't a mythical creature, but it's a fucking crazy creature. And this is only a sample of the things that have been discovered, and who knows what else is down there? There might be a kraken, say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That is
a
very
megalodon.
Or 2 megalodons. That tickled Luke.
We got him. Luke got him. That's ace.
Well, yeah. I'm happy to leave it that in the interest of brevity.
It's twice as mythical.
Game over.
Good job. Excellently done.
Deep.
Any thoughts or questions at this point?
No, I think you've covered it quite well. I think that's a good answer in all fairness. I didn't think of it.
I agree with the logic.
Yeah, I really didn't think of it, but like I suppose like if you're thinking about mythical creatures and the fact that in reality we've not properly had like maybe we have, but we've not properly had like an experience of a mythical creature being found. The likelihood
a mythical teacher.
We got one of those.
Yeah, I think that's a cracking answer. Good job, buddy.
Cool.
Yeah, and
Pass the mic.
and pass the mic to me. So I am not too far away, if I'm perfectly honest. From us, not from.
I too
there.
am in the Challenger deep. Further down.
It's cool. Finish on one lower. It's appropriate.
No, I'm actually not too far from our location now, the UK. I am in Dover. And I'll zoom out a bit just so that we can see where we are.
I can't see that. It's
still on my beautiful image tray.
Jellyfish. Yep.
Sorry, forgot
There
about
we
it.
go. There we go.
It's bound to happen.
Zoom us out. Where are we?
We're in Dover, in the UK.
Dover.
There's my beautiful country, and then we're right here. And so I've got a bit of a spiel for this one. A Cornish farmer looks to walk the farmland he inherited from his father to survey his stock when he notices a strange occurrence. In the midst of one of his fields, the sheep are forming a strange circle around an unknown object. Upon closer inspection, the farmer finally takes note of what is distressing his animals. So, a dead sheep lying on the ground in the middle of the field, a gigantic bite taken out of his side. Following this discovery, in 1978 no less, more locals begin seeing what they deem the Beast of Bodwin Moor. A gigantic cat that they claim roamed their lands, mutilating livestock. But YOLO, I hear you ask. People also claim a gigantic dinosaur resides in a pool of water in Scotland. The fact they claim it's there makes it no more likely to actually find said creature. Well, tell that to the boy who on 24th of July 1995 was walking by the River Fowey when he discovered a large cat skull. Measuring about 4 inches long by 7 inches wide, the skull was lacking its lower jaw but possessed 3 sharp, prominent canines. Now, I put forth that not only is Bodmin Moor a good place to hypothetically see a mythical creature, as you no doubt will argue for your locations, but that there is physical proof that such a mythical creature might just reside in this locale. Case closed. Give me them points. This was back when we were still giving points. And that's it. Bodmin Moor. I shall show you some
show us a picture,
photographies. So this is Bodmin Moor. It is, it's a sort of very mystical place in Dover. You know, the UK is very famous for our mythical places. We've got, fairies. The Celts particularly have fairies and a lot of mythical creatures. We have like Mabinogion and all this, the books about all the mythical creatures. And there has been a skeleton of one found in this location. There we go.
That's interesting. That's like, yeah.
Or a proposed skeleton.
An actual skeleton because it got analysed by scientists at a university.
Bone scientists.
So,
but is that a mythical creature or is it just a big cat that's escaped from a zoo?
We don't know. We have no idea.
That's why it's
mythical.
Because we don't know.
We don't know. They couldn't identify the skeleton. So that's that.
Like, have you got a picture of the skeleton?
No, but I could easily get one. Give me a second. Beast of...
Coincidence?
I'm going to need to speak to this bone scientist.
There's a really funny image that I'm going to show you, which doesn't really help my case realistically. But there is a picture actually, funnily enough. Let's cut to that.
If this is not an absolutely giant saber-tooth-like cat, you're done.
That's a cat!
All right, that's the cat, but the skeleton's there. Near the moor by a boy.
Like a small cat.
It doesn't look like
No.
It looks
it's gigantic. Huge. I gave you the measurements. I didn't say it was gigantic.
It looks like a cat that's had one too many mice.
That's a tiny man behind it holding it.
It is, yeah. That's a hobbit.
I enjoyed the narrative as well. I feel like you're not getting enough props.
The story was good, Yola, but I feel like as with many of these things, once you've shown the actual underlying
that image isn't helping my case really.
it's done nothing.
I mean that one a
That
bit
could be my
better,
back
but
garden. I don't
these
know.
are just like, it's typical Daily Mail. They show you examples of cats first because the people who read the Daily Mail might not even know what a cat is. So it's just like a reference point for them.
It's fair enough.
But yeah, that's my case essentially. Proven skeleton of a mythical gigantic cat in Bodmin Moor in Dover. I shall pass the microphone onto you, Adam.
Thank you. This is shit. So, yeah, y'all, let's do the swoop. Not far to go, to be honest. So all the way from Cornwall up to
You're not liking your choice, Adam?
Wigan.
Wigan, classic mythical creature location.
So, Wigan Minotaur, right?
So what I want to do, y'all, if you zoom in there, because it's the place name that is the key to this one.
Oh, okay.
So it should be around there, around my actual coordinates. But this is gonna give us place names.
Yeah, can you see it? It's there. Fairy Glen.
Fairy Glen. Clues in the name, innit?
Have you got a picture?
I think I did provide another picture.
Here it is.
Look at that.
Very magical.
Look at that. It does look magical, doesn't it?
That's beautiful.
It does.
I love the water there.
So
Very
this is literally
watery.
like I found the place name. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then I saw this picture and I was like, actually, it does look really nice and like a nice place to go for a walk. And it's only an hour away from my house, so I might pop along. Well, that's what I should have done this week. Actually, I should have done that. I should have gone and took a picture of myself with a fairy.
That would have helped.
That would have helped my whole case.
Because right now, you could argue it's a contrary place name. I'll leave it at that.
Ooh, Phil.
No, I like it.
So this is Fairy Glen in Wigan. I chose it because A, it's nearby. B, it's got the name of a mythical creature, and looking at that picture, I can imagine that being somewhere that one would find a mythical creature such as a fairy.
Fair
enough.
Fairly reasoned.
Fair enough.
Get out.
Counterpoint.
Yep.
Very near me, there's Fairy Falls, which are a waterfall.
Oh yeah, there's going to be loads of these. Yeah, let's not get into that. Let's not get into
that.
I'll tell you my original mindset with this one. Like I said, I was trying to find somewhere that would annoy Luke because my suspicion with this was that Luke would go fully kind of Witcher level of kind of, well, this is the exact kind of environment and habitat that one would find a succubus or whatever. And this is the exact humidity level that one of those would thrive, and all that kind of shit. I suspected that's where Luke would go with it. So what I was originally trying to find was some kind of a theme park called like Unicorn World or something like that to kind of counter it, and couldn't find one, and then ended up on Fairy Glen in Wigan.
Fairy Glen in Wigan.
Gulliver's got a lot of like mythical. He's mythical.
Gulliver's really good. I also thought about
Gypsy Wood, which is again just near you guys in outside Carnarvon.
It is, yeah.
Because that's full of fairies.
Absolutely.
But alas, Lancashire is.
I wonder where that. Do you remember those famous photos of the girl with the fairies? I wonder where they were taken, because that would have been a good answer as well. Because like photographic evidence of her like holding these which ended up being I think ornaments.
Is this like your photograph evidence of the Beast of Bodmin Moor?
Wow.
We saw the skeleton. You saw the skeleton? Did you not see the?
I saw a skeleton.
Forget the cat.
Verified by scientists.
Verified by scientists. Very small scientists.
I'm not disputing that a scientist said, "Yeah, that's a skull," and that's not what's in question.
A tiny scientist, very small.
I feel like this is a category where evidence doesn't really help. It's kind of the more
to
achieve mythicalness, you need that kind of
it's the spiel,
the mystery element.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
So apologies, Luke. Over to you, my friend.
Williams. There we go.
Like switch.
Where are we going now, Luke Williams? Let me just get your coordinates. and we are away on our journey to Luke's location.
Asgard.
Thor's house. Whoa! Is it the Americas?
Canada?
In that direction?
Welcome to the northwestern territories of Canada.
Oh, okay.
Now, my first thought was if you were a mythical creature and you were going to survive and live in this modern day and age, you'd want it to be where people weren't. And a large portion of the Canadian Northwest is completely unexplored, filled with mountains and dense forests and caves. And we don't know. There's so much that hasn't been explored. Now, this where you're looking at, these are the Mackenzie Mountains, and in the Mackenzie Mountains, are on and part of a Native American reservation. Okay, so in this reservation there are a number of casca, and so a casca is like a blanket term for different tribes that live in the area, and the Casa and Nahadeen have used this area for centuries. It became permanently settled in the late 1950s when the federal government relocated people from nearby Nelta River, 24 kilometers away. Today, over 100 people call the Nani Boot home. The Dini of the area are represented by the Nani Dean band. It's not a band, it's just like the council. So in this area there is a mountain called the Unknown Peak in this mountain range, and when it's called the not the Unknown Peak, it's the No Name Peak, to the point where it's never been given a name. You cannot search for this mountain because it doesn't have a name. It's owned by the tribes, but it's on the reservation, and they refuse to give the geographical body of the world that records all place names. They refuse to give them a name for this mountain. And with this mountain in this area, there are stories, as you might expect to find from the tribes people, passed down for generations to the present day. So over the years, a number of native hunters, spurred by bravery or foolishness or desperation, wandered into the valley in search of game. The few returned, regaled their fellows with all manner of hair-raising tales. At night, while their compatriots crouched around the campfire, the survivors told of encounters with an evil spirit who haunted the valley, whose unearthly shrieks echoed throughout the canyons and windy nights. Others described a race of fearsome, hairy giants who dwelled in the caves from the canyon, led by a beautiful, pale-skinned chiefess. These primitive mountain men killed and ate anyone who trespassed on their territory. So this location, you are not allowed to travel there because it's owned by the natives in the area. There is mountains, and if you were going to be a mythical creature, if a mythical creature was going to be somewhere, maybe they're protecting it. Maybe there is something there that they're protecting, that they're maybe protecting us from. They aren't giving the name of the mountain. Maybe that has some connotations. Maybe something lives up there. Some kind of, I don't know, firebird, a phoenix. Adam, you like phoenixes, right? Who knows? But a native set of tribes are protecting this area, refusing to give this information. It's completely in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. It is nowhere. If something exists, this would be the perfect place for it to be.
As demonstrated by the fact that Yola couldn't drop the orange man anywhere near it. So
No, nowhere near it. I tried my best.
I think we
to
can
get
say
some
that it
orange
is
man
nowhere.
moving.
Do you want to?
But funnily enough, there's a place here called
picture?
Mayo. There's a
Yeah,
Mayo.
let's see some picture. I want a picture.
You don't have a picture.
These loads of pictures. This is just the valley, I think, the first picture.
You don't have a picture.
I did, didn't I?
I told you earlier you didn't have a picture for this.
Oh, I thought I didn't have a picture
Oh,
for...
no, wait. You did. Tell a lie. Here we are. That's a house, bud.
Or is that what he wants? He's
Hey.
Well, by the
But this
that's
is it. There's there was nothing. There was very, very, very little to go by. There's no pictures of the nearby towns. This is a power line. This is a mountain. Don't pull my argument apart based on nothing, just because yours is weak tea.
Well. Hey, I had evidence of mythical creature. You've got undiscovered lands with a house and power.
Sounds like we're slipping into discussion territory.
Absolutely.
Well, I believe we are in time for discussion territory.
I think
there's two approaches here. There's kind of the pretense that there's nothing there, so it could be something there, and then there's presenting actual evidence, which is what Yola attempted to do, much to everyone's chagrin.
Well, if we're talking most likely place to find one, I think mine would be more likely than Bodmin Moor. That's.
I think your argument
where people are.
But your argument was a less good version of Phil's argument.
Thanks for saying it for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I was essentially going to say the same thing. I agree with your statement that it's better than Bodmin Moor, but with the same logic, the Mariana Trench is better.
Yeah. Because I think
I disagree, because the Mariana Trench, what mythical creatures would live? A kraken. Yeah, you've got a kraken there.
It's so mythical that you've never heard of it, mate. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. Like 20% explored, whereas realistically, we can let's throw some assumptions. Moose might live with yours. We've got assumptions of what yours is, and this is not being derogatory in any way, but the sort of the native Indian people do tend to like those kind of mythical stories and tend to have them regardless of where they are.
Yeah, so if there's going to be a mythical creature, it's going to be protected by a people's that's there. It's on sacred land.
I think your fundamental argument is it's isolated and sacred, whereas I think Phil's argument was slightly better in that his was more isolated and less explored to a extent, because yours was explored by people. I just think that Phil's was the better argument. Although, here's my suggestion.
Don't talk yourself out of it.
Yeah, I had evidence. Fundamental evidence that you guys don't believe. But,
I feel like you're tearing into me because I toured into yours.
No. Mine was what it was. Not my strongest.
It's a similar angle to mine, and that is kind of.
I just feel like if you follow that logic along, then I think.
I also feel like if I had have gone before Phil, I would have been in the strong position.
Well, no, because I would have said,
"Well, yours is a different
take your unexplored mountain range and go on to the next step, being 5% of the."
Your like one of your main thrusts was that how remote and unexplored this place was, and then Phil's is a place.
This is more unexplored.
Well, let's take it to the next point.
Less inhabited.
Mythical creature. You've got a kraken. What other water-based that aren't in a lake or a pool?
We don't know.
Mermaid.
Yeah, again, you're basing that on your
mermaid.
Your knowledge.
Would live in.
Have you seen Little Mermaid? Under the sea, my friend. Under the sea.
That's true. You've got a good point there.
Something about.
Come on, I feel like you're not all being objective. I feel like
it's
not all
bullshit.
being objective.
No.
Phil's
You just don't like
not working,
Luke. The one that you've
been working. We didn't have pictures of
you
shiny creatures, and you had a picture of a house in the snow.
Yeah.
You did. If I'm honest, you didn't help yourself by showing a picture of a house.
But I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, but the thing is, the fundamental at the core of it is that I just think that I think Phil's was the slightly better, eked yours out just by its remoteness.
But okay, let me throw this. I could list more mythical creatures that could live in the forested areas, in the woods.
Why do we have to be no mythical creatures?
Mythical creatures. It's a creature.
How is it a myth then? How is it a myth if it's not a mythical?
It's like a mythical. It's like a being that is theorized upon. A being that is theorized upon is what a mythical creature in my mind is, and I feel like you could.
Okay,
there's more to be theorized upon.
We know that the Kraken was made up.
Yes.
We know that the Kraken was made up, but there's lots of other stories, like your creature of Bodmin Moor, that there is no actual way. Yeah, okay, there's evidence, but there's no actual way of knowing at this point. We know that there's no
yours,
Kraken. What else
yours
would live
was
down there?
Hearsay by one single
group.
group.
The future? What about something that could become a creature of myth by further exploration? That takes the 95% of ocean that's not been explored yet. Once that starts to get explored, you're going to start hearing myths of wacky creatures that could then be perceived as mythical creatures.
A myth would take a lot of time to perpetuate, to become a myth. And what can you tell me that is down there that would be able to perpetuate as a myth? And if we're going myth, you could say mermaid, but a mermaid could not travel from such a low point to such a high point without being destroyed by the compression. It wouldn't. Human features would never survive down there. A kraken would, but a kraken we know
It
was
could have evolved to survive in the deep.
Yes.
Hence
and it wouldn't be a mermaid as we know it then.
And like you know, the like the middle of like the snowy mountains, nameless mountains in the middle of Canada. You could argue the same, that how would these mythical creatures survive in that cold? You've got abominable snowmen and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeti, that's it. Phil's got kraken. It's equal. You're going by mythical creatures that these people say. So I could say, I could literally say right now, there's a underwater creature that is made of a person made of entirely of jellyfish material. I've now said that. That's now a myth.
3.
But that's not a myth.
That's what myth. That's what you're arguing is a myth. Is that a small community made up a story, and you're believing them over my story now. Fundamentally, it's a small community that have their own little myths, just like every.
Remember, y'all has been to the Trinity of Fire, or whatever it's called.
The Ring of Fire.
Completely isolated. If you're going to find a mythical creature similar to Phil, it's going to be something somewhere where nothing is. And the mythical creatures that we know, if we're talking about cryptids, the vast majority, the Jersey Devil, it's in wooded areas. The Wendigo, it's in wooded areas. These so many mythical creatures, fairies, it's in wooded areas.
But all these creatures that you're suggesting are like specific to an area. So like you're the only thing that could be in your area is those myths that those people said, whereas Phil's got like a million possibilities in his.
Yeah, that's what I feel it comes down to. It comes down to, so Luke, you've got a predefined sort of encyclopedia of mythical creatures based on things that people have passed on stories about, whereas
myths.
Yeah. So I guess
Phil's got nothing.
That's my point. My point is that I guess that this comes down to the semantics of the question, in that are we talking about mythical creature as in what we think of as mythical creatures, like a list that you've got in your head right now, or is it mythical creature as in a creature that, as of right now, is unknown to us? It's not like a classified creature.
Because it needs to be a myth.
But,
it needs to be mythical.
Using your definition that you're arguing for now, a majority of those listed mythical creatures that you specified are specific to an area that isn't this area. You have those little men.
I'd say there's probably an equal number of mythical creatures that are sea-based as well. If we went into it, like you mentioned, Loch Ness Monster before, but there's
Sirens.
I mean, there are a ton of those that are rumored for like the lakes in Canada and North America and stuff like that as well.
But to be in the Challenger Deep is very specific. Very, 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 very specific. It would have to be able to survive the compression of thousands and thousands and thousands of tons of water on what would be able to live down there. And yours would have to survive
freezing temperatures. Yeah. And then you're limiting yourself to like mythical creatures like the Yeti. Because you can't argue fairies.
It's not always cold there. It's not always ice cold there.
But by the myth of fairies wouldn't be there. By the myth of Bigfoot, that's specifically located in North America.
Which this is.
No, it's Canada technically. I mean, like they have a specific like location for big.
The Great White North.
I can't imagine this is much fun to watch or anyone.
I know. A community came up with Bigfoot, and they are located in a specific place in America.
But there's been sightings all up and down the north.
Not here. There's not been sightings here. There's only been sightings of little men with a pale woman here, so you're arguing for one.
This is the most likely place to find a mythical creature. At least I have myths that I can draw on.
One.
Lots.
Of one small community.
Well, I think it was like this was like giants. There was rumours of giants there. And I've not even pointed up giants. Giants are a mythical creature. At least I can throw mythical creatures into my location and say,
you can arbitrarily pick a mythical creature and put them there, but it doesn't make it more likely for them to be there.
I'll tell you what. To stop this, I'm going to concede, but I feel you've done me dirty here. I feel like I've been done dirty.
You just took pride in this question, and you're getting pissed off that you didn't win it.
I still
fundamentally-
I
That's
still
that's my
think-
main motivation.
I
to just
still
be,
think-
but not saying I don't care anymore.
Yeah, let's
I'm
move
enjoying how much Luke cares. So
on.
therefore, I'll have points.
I think if you look at it objectively,
Wait,
Phil's
why
is the
are we
most
doing
like
that?
Phil's is the most likely place
I
to find
agree.
something that is unknown to
That is
like,
it could be
science
referred
right
to
now.
as
That's
myth.
not mythical creature. That's a creature that we don't know, not one that's been told and stories have been told on. That stories are what become myth. There is no myth in what Phil's putting forward.
Yeah, but
There's
but-
the location, but there's no stories that come with it. That's
But
it.
your answer to that question is like disparate to like you're saying, okay, well, the most likely place that a community has said that there's myths, and then you're arguing this is super isolated. Like if what you're
It's
saying
a
is
good
the
place to
metric
hide
of the
from a mythical
question,
creature.
we should go for like the smallest community. So, say there's a tiny island where there's like 4 people and they're dead set that there's like a mythical creature there. That would be most likely place by your metric. Because you're saying most likely to find the specific mythical creature talked about by those people there. And I don't think that's the metric. I feel personally that it's where creature of myth could survive. Or not survive, but like could be. And where it's more likely where there's like...
one could be.
But we've only scored 20% of it. We don't know.
True, but what myth? Nothing could survive down there. And
We
the things
both
that
read-
do
we both
are
read
endemic
Meg.
only
We
to
both read
those
Meg.
areas.
We both read Meg. That's all I'm saying.
A story. And it comes up
Well,
underneath a whale, doesn't it? It comes up underneath a whale.
It does, yeah. It's a terrible book.
I
But
vote Phil. Personally.
I think
Well,
we conceded, so we don't
I
need
conceded.
to.
I just feel I've been done super dirty.
Fair enough.
I think the grievance is noted.
Grievance is noted.
By the 2 people that have now left.
Expect pushback now. Expect pushback. I'm going to shut down
That's
all
gonna be
y'all's
fun.
things
That's gonna be
to
fun
keep
for
this thing
everyone.
That's fine. That's petty. You accuse me of like not liking yours because mine was shit. I admit mine was shit. I was drawing on strings serious. But I think your argument was better illustrated by Phil's, and that's fun. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to cut it there because I enjoy arguing with you too much. I'm going to cut it off there. Are we going to go and move on to the next question, or are we going to stop it there?
Do it.
Or are we going to? Okay.
10 o'clock.
So, question 3. Do you want to move on? What do you want to do?
So, I'm good to move on.
Okay. So,
Put this bullshit behind me.
what is the best place to melt an ice slowly? Nice little soft one after that.
Great
shit.
Oh,
Great
we'll
question.
see. We'll see. Won't we?
Great question.
Can we turn the order around? Because I don't want to go to the end again. I don't want to be last again.
I can do that. You know, I said that at the start.
Gosh.
Right. So.
You can go first next week.
Do you know what? If the audience, if there's any audience, obviously, if
Not anymore.
Catherine has said, yeah, not anymore. If Catherine said, oh, I think Luke's right, then I'm right.
There were,
Making that point, Phil.
there were 4 people before. There's now 2, so halved it.
Oh, there were 4 people. No way.
Well, Catherine's comment before was, "I feel like I know too much about Yola's penis now." So that was the point.
If you could
She's
post
not
that in the
enough.
actual comment on the stream, that would be much more appreciated. Rather than texting you surreptitiously on the side.
I know. I did check to see if she popped it.
Get in the chat.
Right.
Anyway.
Phillips, most likely place
Oh.
to melt an ice slowly. We're going to travel to yours now.
Let's do it.
Let's snap it along. Snap it along.
Yes. Well, I brought the brevity last time, and it came to a crushing halt.
I think we did.
Best
So-
place to melt an ice. I thought we said most magnificent.
Most magnificent place to.
Yeah.
it was,
okay, fair enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
No.
I can.
I shortened it just to fit it there. So yeah, let's go with magnificent.
Magnificent place to melt an ice lolly. So how do you melt a
So
lolly?
where are we? Phil?
We are, my friend, in the again another water-themed one for me. It's the Dead Sea, the saltiest place on Earth. So how do you melt an ice lolly? Either heat, or salts, or other ways, water. So here we've got 2 or 3 there. You got the water and the salt. And if you were to melt, say for example, a rocket lolly with its panoply of colours, if you place it on the surface of the Dead Sea, it would sort of dissipate slowly, but it would remain on the surface, sort of spreading out in a magnificent way, one might say.
Big fan of that, Phil. Big fan of that.
That's pretty good, bud.
I like that you've taken into
Can't
account
argue
not
with
just the heat of
Yeah.
the scenario, but also
There's salt.
Salt
Multiple
content is-
melting. Yeah, I like it.
multiple melt factors.
And it would sit on the surface.
See, Phil, I think you've got a strong argument there, but in the wrong direction. I think that it wouldn't be particularly magnificent to melt it on salt, but the place itself that's magnificent. I think that's where your strength lies in that one. Going to the Dead Sea.
Yeah, but in the actual melting of it, though, I think it would look especially striking on the surface of the Dead Sea, because it wouldn't.
I mean,
it would say it would
to
sit
support
on the surface.
To support what Luke just said, and also my own answer later on, the prompt was most magnificent place to melt an ice lolly, not how can you melt an ice lolly in the most magnificent way.
Oh, what was the? Is that what it was? Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Oh, this is what support feels like.
Vindicate me.
I agree, but
that said, I am a big fan of your answer, because I agree. A rocket lolly, like spreading out on the surface like that'd be great.
Yeah.
And
it is kind of a magnificent place.
And it is a magnificent place.
Listen, and it is a magnificent place. It's just you didn't necessarily use that as one of your arguments. Is my point.
Fair enough. Point. Now I do, because Luke helped me out on that one. So.
Yeah,
that's a magnificent
what a place.
Because I support you.
Good job.
Fair
Excellent.
Enough. Cool. Who's next?
It's me.
You know who's
And
next.
I'm going to take you guys.
Always the same.
I,
Feel you laughing, Luke.
oh yeah.
To some extent.
I have a very similar. Oh no, I've preemptively scrolled, but I'll get it up now. So I have gone for a similar thing, but like as Adam said, I've gone for the most magnificent place. So I feel like this map doesn't necessarily do it justice, but we are in the Nevada desert in America. Because the place I immediately thought is I went with Phil. I was like, okay, I want multiple means of melting the lolly. So I wanted heat, and I went with water as well. And as such, I went for a natural oasis in the Nevada desert. And I'll have a picture of it very shortly. And I went for this place. Natural oasis in the Grand Canyon. I went for somewhere hot, somewhere pretty, and also somewhere where you can wipe the stickiness away from your hands almost immediately using the waterfall.
By polluting the environment.
But this is not the most sort of we're not talking about pollution in the question here. There's no talking about pollution. Realistically, you shouldn't be putting lollipops in the Dead Sea either by that metric. But and then the extra little thing I tacked onto mine is that obviously, like, you are now out the money for an ice lolly, and you can maybe make it back in Las Vegas, which is nearby. So you could argue that you can get your money back as well as melt a lolly in a very magnificent place, which is hot, which is beautiful, and which has a sort of natural waterfall.
I feel the location itself is your argument here, because it is gorgeous place to be melting an ice lolly. But I think, that's the strength in your answer. It's gorgeous. Where is it again? It's in Nevada.
It's in the Grand Canyon National Park. It's a natural oasis. It's like constantly, and the water is actually like warm.
Is it in the gorge? It's itself?
in one of the gorges. Yeah. It's at the bottom of one of the gorges. That's that's a very tall waterfall. Yeah, and it's the water's described from what I can see as warm, like naturally warm water, which might help my case for melting an ice lolly. Anyway, I shall pass it over to you, Adam.
Thank you. Very, very close. So if we jump across, it's probably literally like an hour's drive away or something.
Although it is in the same frame.
Oh wow, that's really close.
I did notice that you two had a very similar set of coordinates without obviously looking at what they were on the thing.
So I mean, Google Maps does absolutely zero favors when we're talking about this. There we go. So I've gone for mine's in Death Valley National Park, and I'm looking for a place. I don't know if you can see it there. I can't see the screen enough, but there's a feature called the Manly Beacon.
BT Junction.
If you go to my pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we are.
There we go. Oof. So this is
Manly.
Yeah, exactly. So this is Manly Beacon. So I've gone for essentially the same logic. So we're in Death Valley National Park, which is on average the hottest place on Earth. So that's my primary measure for melting an ice lolly. Also, this is just outside a place which is called Furnace Creek, which I thought was a great name. And Furnace Creek holds the record for the highest ever temperature recorded on Earth, which I thought was amazing.
What was the temperature?
56.7 degrees.
Toasty.
Which is absurd.
But then you've got
Could you
sticky
even get an
fingers
ice
in
lolly
the
out
middle
there?
of nowhere.
Who knows? Yeah, who knows? You might even never be an ice lolly. I don't know.
You
But
need a good cool box to.
yeah, you need to be quick.
And that brings us on to our sponsor. No, I'm just kidding.
That game is brought to you
Cool
by,
boxes.
brought to you by
So I think this is like a slideshow, y'all. So I think you can scroll across. So this is Death Valley National Park. So again, very similar to the kind of the Grand Canyon sort of landscape. It looks amazing. It's quite high.
It's not. So I'm
there's-
just going to quickly make it so that it is. There should be back in the background.
Okay,
Here we
cool.
go.
So there's lots of amazing sort of scenery and panoramas around there. Does not
I feel
particularly
like-
great. So there we go.
There we are. That's nice.
So I'd say that's a fairly magnificent place in my mind, and also the hottest place in the world.
And the heat thing you've definitely got going for you. I feel like me and Phil brought that water element to it. which
I
was
mean,
like,
I agree.
You have exceeded us when it comes to the heat aspect. I will give you that. The fact that like the hottest recorded temperature is very much nearby, and also it's gorgeous, helps your case. I am going to say that. It's very pretty. Here we are.
And it's got a great name as well.
Manly Beacon. I mean, you want? Oh, look at these fellas.
Look at those guys. They've probably just finished an ice lolly.
Oh my God! Wait, yeah. Do we see wooden sticks on the ground somewhere? Yeah, it's very nice, very nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Luke Williams.
I'm not going to win this by a long shot. I went for a very personal touch, so it won't really apply. But I just thought it was nice.
My mouth.
I went for a
That's
gut.
a good answer.
I went with my gut on
Fair enough.
this one.
We are.
Well, what's this?
It's very blurry.
This is the
here,
Challenger
Michael
Deep.
Glath is feeling.
Where no
Ooh.
mythical creature exists.
Are we in Bodmin Moor? Are you going to get a cat to lick yours?
No. Where's
What's the cat?
Google? Come on.
Yeah, what's
Yeah, I
going on
know.
with Google?
Come on, you're failing me at the moment. It is steadily loading.
What is that
It's
like?
just. I think it's
Penzance?
faltering.
Where are we?
Yeah, near Penzance. Yeah, it's quite near Penzance. Yes, Luke.
Near Penzance, but not Penzance.
Uh,
I can't do this without the Google image. It
oh,
won't
do
set the scene.
you want the image?
You can go to the image if you want.
Yeah. So here's the image.
Ooh, look at that.
It's very pretty.
So, this is Lizard Point. And Lizard Point is the southernmost point of the UK that you can possibly go to. And I went here. I went to a friend of mine's wedding in Cornwall, and before we went home, we drove down to Lizard Point and had a nice lolly, and it was in the summer. It was England, so it wasn't hot, but it was warm. But me and my family had ice lollies, and it was a really profound experience for me, knowing that I was at the southernmost tip of England, and it made me very introspective about my place in the world and England and the history behind that was behind me, and I was at the point, the tiptoe of Britain, of Great Britain, and looking out into the ocean, knowing that the stretch of the world that was in front of me, it was an emotional experience, and to be able to do it with my family as a tourist point that's not too difficult to reach. I mean, I agree in your magnum. If we're talking magnificence, your places are probably a lot more magnificent, but this was magnificent to me. This was my family. It was the southernmost point of the UK, and it was just it made me feel so small and so privileged to be where we live in England. You know, NHS and all that jazz.
I've also been there, and there was intact lollies everywhere. I'm just kidding.
I would be melting a lolly in my mouth.
No, that's fair. That's fair. It's pretty.
Magnificent place.
I mean, I'm all for.
We never said how we melt the lolly. We never said how we melt the
didn't,
lolly.
we didn't.
For me, it was internet.
But we also didn't apply. We can't apply emotions to these questions. We need to be candid.
As much as that's beautiful, yeah, I don't think you
it's
can.
It's a beautiful story,
but
we didn't ask where you.
What did I say to you at the beginning? What did I say to you?
You said this is definitely the best answer.
No.
You hyped it pretty hard. But no, I liked it. Nice. I like the story. I do, and I'm all for. We do in the UK we don't get enough credit for our sort of like views. Like it says a lot that we thought prettiest and we went outward, and you sort of like stayed inwards. It sort of like says a lot. But
I think this is magnificent. I think because the ocean's clear, because it's onto the Pacific Ocean. It's a lovely, lovely place. I'm going to stop defending it now because I'm clearly not in the running for.
I would argue British weather. British weather was what I would argue. You go into it's the best place to melt an ice lolly. 90% of the time you go there, it's going to be fucking raining.
No, it's the most magnificent place to melt an ice lolly if your name is Luke Williams.
That's fair. That is absolutely fair, and I will accept that. Can't argue with that. 100%. So shall we deliberate?
Yes. I'm torn because I don't want Phil and Adam to get another point, but I also the worst part of it would be you getting a point.
I know, but this is like
try and take that sort of
I'm joking.
Kind of talk out of it.
No, I know.
I think that's
that's real.
Which one was yours again, Yola?
The
cool oasis in the oasis in the middle of the Grand Canyon.
And Phil's was
Dead Sea.
The Dead Sea. I'd like. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a toss-up between me and Phil's. Yeah,
I think Phil's because yours is lovely.
Plus, you don't want me to get that point.
No.
I agree. I was either or. It was either or. I think.
I like the salt factor in Phil's. I was a big
fan.
Yeah,
the chemical element of that was.
It's how you take the word, and isn't it? The most magnificent place to melt.
I feel you've got the geography going for you, but Phil's got the geography and the method on top of that.
Is it inherently hot in the Dead Sea area? Where is the Dead Sea?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Full of salt.
Next to Jordan.
Yeah.
At least, yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, so yeah, I'd say Phil as well, if I'm perfectly honest. I mean, Phil's got a lot more going for him with regards to. I feel like my waterfall helped, but like that was just like tacked on bullshit about like cleaning your sticky fingers, because you can inherently dip your hands into the Dead Sea for that as well. So yeah, I'm cool with going for Phil.
It's not like yours
the bullet
wasn't
points here. I think it's a nice place.
Yeah,
very, very
melt quickly.
I'd argue mine was nicer. So if we go magnificent, I'd argue mine was nicer to see and be at. But I also can't really argue.
Yeah, it was the most magnificent place, maybe yours, but the most magnificent place to melt an ice lolly and have.
I'd still argue mine.
To have the number one, to have the speed of the salt effect on it,
the combination of the melting of the ice
the way it
and
dissipates and sits on the surface would.
The actual pragmatic of the melting of the lolly, that's fine.
I'd
argue mine was more magnificent. Yours better melts an ice lolly.
I feel you are very wrong to negate the subjective aspects of magnificence. I think that being in the Grand Canyon is a fucking hell of a place to do it. In an oasis in the Grand Canyon is fantastic. So I feel like you've got a very strong candidate there for that subjective emotional experience. I feel like you shouldn't dismiss me for the emotional experience.
No, I'm not.
But equally going to the Dead Sea. I mean, everyone's heard of the Dead Sea. Everyone's heard of the Grand Canyon, but I've not heard of any oases before. But to go to the Dead Sea and have a lolly in the Dead Sea, that sounds like something I'd want to put on my bucket list.
Yeah, that's fair.
Have an ice lolly.
I agree. Like I from the get-go, I would say it's either me or Phil. I feel like me and Phil's are very similar. I'd argue the point that mine was more magnificent, but I'd also argue the point that Phil's is better at melting the ice slowly. So you can fall on either
Depends what you wanna
camp
lean on,
there.
really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
essentially.
does
And I'm quite happy to sort of like agree with that and go with Phil's. Absolutely.
Yep.
So
I don't want to open a can of worms again as well, but we have had a message in the chat to say that Phil definitely won the mythical creature round. So
From who? From
That doesn't matter.
person we know. Is it Catherine?
it's not Catherine.
Okay, then I accept my defeat. The audience. Wait.
any fans of the cat?
Is it Yola?
No.
Is it Yola that's won?
Yeah, it's Yola twice.
Can that same commenter agree for mine? Because I feel like I'm being done a dirty here. No, I'm just kidding. Should we move on or should we stop there? What are you guys' opinions?
We're in it, mate. We're in it now. Let's do it.
We're in it to win it. Okay, I like it. So, question 4, which
We're 85 minutes in, and
is my favourite question, is most awkward place to get an erection. I feel like this is going to be a really fun one, and yes, some of the photos for this one are fantastic. So like I thought this is a shoe in for me, and then I saw some pictures preemptively, and I was like, I might lose this one. So congratulations, guys, good job. I thought I was the connoisseur.
So this was Phil's
erections.
question.
Again, it was a joke at the time.
As
but
we can tell by the filth.
This was, it's gone a bit more blue than I thought. This.
I was like-
Just can we please note that 2 of the questions were to do with arousal?
Yeah, the first thing I thought of was to do with the penis, and I thought, well, we've already got 2, so we can't be doing. It can't just be all about dicks. Like we can't. So it's rubbish. Spread them out.
I hope none of us have a personal experience for this one.
I struggle with this one.
I struggled with this one quite a bit.
Well, let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Yeah. I did all right with this one. But
Come on,
we shall.
Google, what are you doing?
Yeah, Google. I feel like I should do something about this because it's not quite loading. So I'm gonna I'm going to go back to lollies for now, and we'll just look at Luke's. Luke can reminisce for a second, and I'm gonna close Google off, and I'm gonna open it.
You need to play some like wistful, beautiful.
This looks lovely there. That looks like it'd be a nice place for a swim.
Oh man,
He's like,
honestly,
oh,
it is magnificent.
Just deep throwing one. I could just picture Luke deep throwing one of those like round trees things there, and I'm in for it. Could have gone for the most arousing one. I'm getting an awkward boner right now just thinking about it. Right, I think I believe.
Luke eating the ice away. Yeah. We've also in the chat. We've also had a sorry Luke, which I think was about the last one, and then Yolo. That skull was definitely a cat.
How dare you? It was a large cat of the cat genus, but it was a mythical cat.
I'm related to a cat.
I don't know what I was thinking
Save
about
it
the cat.
to Tabby Cat.
That cat picture killed mine. Should not have Googled it. Never Google it. Right, I am going to go to the thing, and Phil, most awkward place to get an erection, guide us through it. We're going to zip there now. Whee! Oh!
Staying local again.
Oh, wow, okay, fair
Follows
enough.
on quite nicely again from Luke's, probably a couple hundred miles north of where Luke was. And we're in
Lovely.
sunny Wales, specifically in Powys. And this is a cave network known as the Ogof y Darren Kilau Viola.
Perfect pronunciation.
Absolutely fantastic. Ogov means cave.
Yeah.
Darren Kilai. Ogov of the, and I don't know what Darren Kilai means because I'm the worst Welshman alive. So the Welsh words.
But yeah, so
Cave of
Darren's,
Welsh
Darren's
words.
cave.
Yes, cave of something. Perfect.
So this is a famous spelunking spot. Image 1, please, Jenna.
Yes, image 1 is. Oh no, that's me going to the wrong place. 1 second.
This is an awkward place to get an erection.
And this is image 1.
So yeah, this is the sort of the exterior of the cave network. It's like a famous spelunking spot, and it's known for it's known as like the most claustrophobic cave network in the world, or one of. And there's a passing in this area known as the Vice, which is about 4 inches wide. It's quite a tricky wiggle through. Oh, get through! Oh, I'm stuck, and it's like so. And mountain rescue turns up. Come on, mate, you can get through that. I can't get through that. Why not? Huh? There's a very specific reason I can't get through.
I saw this picture and I was like, that is a fucking cracking idea. So good job, Phil. I was like, that is out of the box thinking at its best, and I was like, good job. it was your question, and you didn't go sordid with it, which I was quite impressed with as well.
Well, yeah, as Luke suggested in the initial chat about it, we didn't want it to be tasteless, so I just thought something topological.
Did you say that? Oh shit.
Again, in the interest of brevity, I'm happy to leave it at that. But yeah, imagine Mountain Rescue turned up and you're in a compromised position.
I guess my only point of consideration would be, what is anybody doing to get an erection in that scenario, and how is it being maintained to the point that Mountain Rescue are showing up?
I think it's.
As a fan of asphyxiation, there's something to it.
I'm not.
Horses for courses and all that, but
I'm not worried about the means of arousal. Just the fact
it wasn't in the question.
And I think once it has occurred, I think as it becomes more. Look, I feel like it's
you got to panic.
If you need to get rid of an erection, it's not the easiest thing to do, is it?
I
Without going into too much sort of detail.
Very awkward. I love it, and it's like, yeah, out of the box thinking, and I was a big fan of this answer. Mate.
Big fan.
Good job.
Big fan of that. Big fan.
Good job.
Well,
mate.
it would be even more awkward if you crawled in facing them the other way around, wouldn't it?
Yeah, face up.
I go for a detective distance.
It'd be really awkward if you're following someone, like you're going straight after someone. Then there's like, well, what are you getting that erection for? But we're not going to get into that. We don't really need to.
Well, this location gives,
you're spelunking with your nan. She goes first.
Gives possibility for all those things. That's the beauty of the location. Yeah,
absolutely.
Various ways this can be awkward.
Well done. That was excellent.
Fantastic. Great.
And now on to mine. Mine has gone the sordid route, so I apologise already. Because it's all I could think of. And I have gone for a little place in France. And I just thought, this was just like an idea I had. I found the place, and then it was made all the better by a certain thing. And I'm going to zip there now. We're going to Francais. Phil, any French words you want to say before I get down to it?
Sacré bleu.
Very nice, very nice. So it's a fairly innocuous looking place for now. It's kind of just a village in the middle of nowhere, and you can sort of see where I'm going with it here. Forest de Anus. This is a place in France called Anus, and made ever more awkward by the fact that it is a playground in Anus. And I have pictures, not of anuses, and I will show you them now. So this is the specific place in Anus I was referring to, so give me a second. So it's a playground. It's a playground called Fort de Anus, which is roughly translated as filled with anus, which I think makes it worse. This is what I found afterwards. I was like, oh, Fort de Anus. I probably like translated it, and I thought it translated to Forest of Anus, but actually it translates to filled with anus. And I feel like if you just arrive here with a group of friends, you see the sign, there's a playground nearby, and you get an erection at this point here, that is going to be very awkward to explain to your friends. That you are in Anus, France, and very nearby there's a children's playground. It's got like two things.
Double whammy. I like it.
Double whammy.
As a fan of the two rationales approach,
Have you got any pictures of the actual playground? Because it's not looking very playground.
I was intrigued by that as well.
Yes, I will get some up now. I will switch to the Google Maps view just so that we know. Anus. Oh my god, that's not an... okay, that's not a search. I'm so glad I put that off. I'm so glad I swapped off.
You just Googled anus playground.
I know. I've literally Googled Fort de Anus, and it was fucking horrifying.
Safe search is off.
Did you mean...
So, it's yeah, absolutely. So, it is... I'll show you this. So this is Anus here, and then what I did was I zoomed in, and then it said something about a playground. I'm pretty sure it said it on the actual Google Earth, actually. If I'm pretty sure. So if I click that, can I click that? Is that something I can click? Playground. There you go. Proof in the pudding.
I can't see it. It just says white. It's just a white box.
Oh, you guys can't see that. Learn more in Google Maps.
On the OBS, I guess it's not letting you share screen or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm
here we
Just
go.
read it to us. Just read it to us.
I'm happy to take
I
your
think
word for it.
Here we
yeah,
are.
we can take it under advisement.
So it does say on the left there, playground. Someone who needs to do a Google search can confirm that for themselves. I wonder if I can do something here where I can maybe zoom out enough that you see that. But no, I can't, unfortunately. So, yeah, it does say the word playground right there. If you guys Google, don't actually Google it. Take it under advisement by me. Don't Google it. But for the anus, if you could type it in, it does say playground. It's got 5-star reviews, 2 reviews. The French, gotta love them, is the review 1. And translated by Google, different wild name again from our French Habibis, is what it says, which don't necessarily know what that means. But, yeah, it's
I like it.
France, named after...
Definitely
nice.
nice. Be awkward.
Yeah, that would be very awkward. That's me.
I like it.
And I will pass it on to Adam.
Thank you. So yeah, struggle with this one because I didn't want to go too close to the bone. I think. Hey, stop it.
Right, here we go.
We're going Southern Hemisphere.
Jumping down into the Middle East. So this is a little place called Bethlehem.
I think I've just seen it.
So if we could zoom in a little bit.
Absolutely. I think we've got a 3D
So I don't know if you
representation
get the place name there. So anyway, so that's fine. So this building that we're looking at here, I don't know if you can see that on the screen actually. This is the Church of the Nativity. So this is, as per Christians, the place where Jesus was born. Well, it's a church built on top of the cave where people say that Jesus was actually born in.
See, I think you've answered the question wrong. I think you should have answered most appropriate place to get an erection. Because if you're a Christian, this is the right place.
I mean, yeah. Again, of course, there's a picture. I think if you can scroll through the slideshow, I thought the link took you to the kind of Google slideshow.
It takes you to the specific picture, but I can easily get the.
That's annoying.
Because
there's some pictures of inside and stuff. So
same pictures as earlier. No, I'm just kidding. Right, I'll get it up now.
Make sure you've closed the anus page.
I know.
Yeah, don't bring that up.
That is scarred.
So yeah, it's the place where Jesus was born. It looks like a very sort of sacred place. Obviously, there's a lot of people there in quite sort of auspicious, sort of humbled manner, and I just feel like getting a boner in that place would be awkward. Really,
it might be a little bit awkward, might it? I think it would be very. Somewhat awkward to be getting.
Also, I couldn't help but think there's probably a lot of pictures there of like the Virgin Mary. She'd find that embarrassing. She'd be like, "What's going on? What's that about?"
What's that?
There she is.
She's
never seen an erection, so that's going to be awkward for everybody concerned.
So she wants to screw.
It's a weird little dungeon area, which
So I think that's the route down into the actual cave where Jesus was apparently born. There it is.
It is.
So yeah.
I think he
was born in a stable.
Yeah, that's what I thought. There it is.
I mean, I don't know if that was just made up for the films. I think that was the popular version
for that famous nativity film.
Yeah, for school plays nationwide.
That Passion of the Christ prequel. There we go. That's the extent of our pictures.
Yes, so awkward in my book.
Absolutely, I agree with that. That is very, very true. Luke Williams.
Master Williams.
Okay, I've gone for a terrible angle here. I may regret it later. Y'all have had a second. I've added a second picture or a second set of pictures.
You can't do that this late in the game. Sorry, buddy. I will get up more as needed. Just
like Google search and everything.
Yeah, I'll do that now. I'll Google search, but you can't just send me a thing because I'm not using the online thing. I'm using my own Excel sheet that I've made so that I don't have to have another browser open. So there's method to the madness, but I am going there now. And we shoot off. Where are we going, Luke Williams?
Hop to the east.
Yeah, where are we here?
It's not quite got me where I want to be getting there. Or has it? Zoom out. Zoom out a bit more.
I've got an awkward erection right now.
There we go. Sorry, a little bit south of there. I guess Google Maps wasn't being the most friendly.
The Pyongyang.
Pyongyang,
Okay.
North Korea, where any kind of deviation from any kind of social norm that North Korea does so impose is quite often punished heavily. You're walking down the streets, you see a guard, you wink, you're right, because keeping that precedent of keeping that facade up, and then suddenly little chubby pops up and it's awkward. Is he
Little
going?
chubby.
Is
Little
he?
chubby.
There we go. Is he going to let it pass? Is he going to take you downtown? But more specifically, the picture that where I was going for was Kumsusan Palace, which is Kim Jong Un's palace. Thank you. And I think that would be one of the most awkward places for yourself to get an erection, because it could result very much in your death. Also answers most dangerous place to get an erection.
I was
but it
literally
would
going
be
to
a
say
bit
that.
awkward.
Yeah.
I would say if the question was dangerous place, I would be all over that.
I think it's the same question with the same brush. I think it would be very, very, very awkward to get a erection in, say, the procession of Kim Jong-un. Especially there. I mean, it carries
You're standing at
sentences.
attention when you're standing at attention. Yeah, that'd be really awkward.
But I mean, like, just playing a counterpoint. The glorious leader must have had erections, so they must be.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I don't think it's a problem for Kim Jong-un to get an erection anywhere.
Yeah,
but if you're anyone else,
Is there any recorded evidence
He might
of
have
it
an
being
erection.
He definitely has one.
problematic in North Korea to get an erection? I know it's a
Yeah,
tricky place.
any kind of anything that's against the social. What did I read again? Deemed to be against the social lifestyle, as in it could be misconstrued. If it was caught, you could be heavily punished for even such a small act as having an erection in a public place.
Is there precedent for that? Because I feel like that's a stretch for acting out of the order of the Kim Jong Un equates to an erection. I don't think that there's that sexually limited, are they? I know there are absolute atrocities going on there, and the starvation of their people and stuff.
But lots of orgies at the same time.
Absolutely, sexual beings.
Full of
like
it.
that.
This is the thing. You can get in trouble for. I mean, think of how quickly and easily he executed his ministers, the people around him, for the most minuscule of things. I think it would be a very awkward place to get an erection. I've not dug deep in that because I wanted it to be more of a fun debate.
Good, no, it's a good show. It's a good show.
I would here's a point you could say, Luke.
I burnt all my energy on the mythical one.
That's fine. No. I'm going to give you one, right? We don't necessarily we're not saying we're not specifically saying erection as in a penis erection. You could argue that if you were to erect a statue in North Korea, that would be very much punishable. Because anything,
it would be punishable because it'd be away from the deity that
exactly. So
Kim
if
Jong
you're talking about erecting a statue, 100%. I couldn't erect a statue of Yola Roberts in North Korea. That
Depends
would
if
be
that's
punishable
awkward
by
though,
death.
or
Yeah, I would still agree dangerous.
Reckless and dangerous.
Reckless. Yeah. I'd be like, whoops, that's awkward. I accidentally erected this statue.
Tarring it with the same brush. I mean, dangerous and awkward. I mean, they goes hand in hand.
But I feel like it's a point of discussion, and as such,
Yeah.
let's discuss.
I'm
I like fills.
struggling to get past Phil's, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I really like
So is the guy
fills.
with the erection in the
Exactly.
I know. Yeah.
I think the benefit
we've
of
got-
mine is that it's an actual physical hindrance that would have to be explained, and that creates the awkward social situation.
And you could argue about the context of awkward being stuck in a confined this is an awkward place to be, awkward as in to navigate. That also is to your point. And I really like to encourage that kind of out of the box thinking. You took the question, I took it to the most sordid place I could think.
Just acting as a devil's advocate. I mean, it's predicated on getting stuck in there, isn't it?
Well, no, that's could potentially the cause of the stuckage. Plus, it's a very to use it to invent a word. It's
don't worry about it. We're writers.
Yeah.
No, yeah, sorry.
We can invent words. That's what we're here for. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's difficult to navigate as it is, but that would tip you over the edge, so to speak. With that.
Yeah. I just wonder, are we saying the most awkward place to get an erection or the most awkward circumstances for you to get an erection? Because awkward place, I'm leaning a bit more towards Adam's there.
But in terms of
place,
how do you get out of it, though? If it's...
Stop having an erection.
Yeah, but when
mind over matter.
Is there already?
Erection, it's not like herpes. It can go away.
Yeah, but it's...
Whereas if you're in a church and, these priests and nuns around...
You can argue that about anything. You could say...
You've got a whopping boner. And the nuns are, like, fainting because
the self-control on Luke Williams.
Enormous phallus.
Yeah, but you're stuck in a cave, you've got 30 seconds of air left, and they're saying... Come on, mate, you can get through there. It's like, I can't. Why?
I like it because...
You're hanging out in the cave.
Well, no, that specific picture was just to demonstrate, but... The map thing didn't have the actual cave network.
Would you say you were hanging out the back of it?
we could have all gone like dirty place name. We could have all gone like like places that like you'd be prosecuted for having an erection. I quite like that answer. That answer was really quite intriguing, cheeky, out of the box, and I feel like it encompasses two definitions of the word awkward. My vote goes to Phil. Personally.
My vote goes to Adam. Adam, you're doing yourself a disservice here. You could call it moot if you voted for yourself.
Can we vote for? I think we can vote for ourselves.
Of course you can.
I think that was the thing. Well, I wish I'd done that every single time.
God damn it!
That's the whole point of defending.
My argument against Adam's,
I think
though, is that it's
like
just... socially
socially awkward. Mine, I felt as far as I could push that kind of like social awkwardness without going to like. I'm going to say it.
In the church, it's social awkwardness on a much grander scale rather than just.
But fundamentally,
sorry, guy can't get in here.
If that was the case, you could list any church. Like fundamentally, it's like a church that has a historical context. The context of Jesus being born there has no real relation to like the boner situation. I feel like, and it's more to inherently be that.
Did you hear the part about the Virgin Mary?
And any of the also, I feel like there's scope for concealing, whereas with mine, it's causing a blockage in the thing. You can't not.
I feel like Luke's dragging me into a defence here. I fundamentally agree with Phil. My vote is with Phil.
You have to address the erection in mine, and then it's like Mountain Rescue come out. It's a scene. It's like, what's up with this lad? He's wedged in. Why? He's got some room there. He's not got room.
There's room for hilarity.
Absolutely.
It's like the start of a Ben Stiller film.
Yeah.
I vote. So yeah, I think if Adam
are we sticking with the rule that it's the majority vote? Because when we did it, when it was us, it was unanimous consensus.
Yeah, I suppose. I think it's harder with unanimous consensus now. But we could ask the question of whether the question fundamentally has been answered, but then we have to revisit this question, and I don't want to.
Not necessarily. We could do this. We could say, on paper, you and Adam and Phil vote Phil's, Phil wins. But if the audience suggests otherwise, then that's where it goes.
The audience can shove it up their ass. I'm taking the stance. You're not map enthusiasts.
Just FYI.
Okay, then let's talk about our next ones quickly then.
Okay, are we doing into it? Yeah, okay, that's fine. So the last one is, what is the most contrary named place? Contrary named places. Let's move on to the presentation screen, and we're going to move on to Phil. Phil, where are you taking us?
Just on a quick side note, how much does Pyongyang look at the start of EastEnders?
Hey, let's roll.
Philly.
It's quite simply. To the Southern Hemisphere again. Spent a lot of my time this evening. Christmas Island. To my brutish Northern Hemisphere mind, Christmas is meant to be snowy. I draw festive images for me. Snow, North Pole, Father Christmas on his sledge, busting through the snow. So, how do you explain Christmas Island with image one?
I think fundamentally you're there with the Southern Hemisphere thing, aren't you?
Well, yeah,
surely.
Yeah.
Like you say, Christmas time, got a Christmas island should be
half
the North Pole,
the Earth.
right?
That's very
It's gotta be-
northist of you. Oh,
Well, yeah.
It's a good entry. I like it.
Plowing through the sand on his sledge, though, is it? It's sort of.
When was it named Christmas Island? Was it named before, after Christmas was Christmas, or has it been this way for a very long time? Or?
That reeks of English imperialism finding an island at Christmas time.
It was Captain William Minors discovered it on Christmas Day, 1643, if memory serves.
it's not contrary.
On this Google
He
thing.
discovered it on Christmas Day.
In a way, then there's a point to argue that's possibly not contrary.
Yeah,
because
I agree with that.
It's marking something. I don't think that's contrary. It's like a.
It's contrary to the theme it's depicting, though. It's like,
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I think the idea
thematically
if you say, "Oh, we're going to Christmas Island," you don't think of.
Yeah, kids are going to Christmas Island for a holiday.
Half the world
Pack
do
the
see
skis.
that as Christmas.
Half the world is wrong, Gala.
Wow. Okay. Whoa.
To be fair, I don't think that's true. Half the world don't think of that as
No,
Christmas
I
Island.
suppose
Maybe
not.
the people, if there are anybody who lives on Christmas Island, do. But beyond that,
Find me a Christmas film in a sunny setting.
I could do
It's
that.
always best.
If it's set in Australia, there we go.
Tropic Christmas.
True,
Yeah.
Christmas in Oz.
That's
enough.
right.
Good entry.
That's me.
It's good
Cool.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good entry. Right,
think-
I'm going to take you. Oh, sorry. No, carry on.
no, I was
carry
just
on,
saying, for me, this one, like, that's very similar to mine. And that I think this feels like quite a superficial one like that. So unless you guys have gone quite deep, that feels about on course with where I think this question will probably generally pan out.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
I've got an interesting one. So
Okay.
we're back in the UK yet again. We're in London, and we're in a very sort of like random place in London. And I've got a bit of things. So my place is Torrington Place in Finchley, London, right? And Torrington Place is a contrary place name because it is not even a place. It's on Google Maps, but it fundamentally doesn't exist. Because in the business of making maps, it's far too easy for someone to come along and copy your map and reap the rewards. So none more so than Google, who have seen their maps stolen by a multitude of big businesses, individuals, as well as successful streamers. Us. To prevent this, and as a means for for easy litigation later on, map makers include trap locations or phantom settlements onto their maps, so that if they're included in other maps, they know that their map was plagiarized. Torrington Place is this type of place. It exists on Google Maps, but strolling to the location will see neither sight or sound of Torrington Place. It is a place that is not a place, the ultimate in contrariness. And I've got a picture of it here. It is... Oh, no, that's still...
Christmas
no,
Island.
sorry.
That's amazing.
What? It is here. This place is meant to be a town called Torrington Place, and it is not. It is not there. It does not exist. It never has existed. It's a trap town made by Google to catch people in the act of stealing their maps.
I like that. That's cool.
And it's Torrington Place, and it's not a place. Didn't mind that one, if I'm being
That's clever,
honest.
man. I like it.
And that's me.
Good.
That's my one. And in the
Like it.
interest of brevity, Adam,
Thank
where are
you.
you taking us?
So yeah, I mean, this was my question, and I think one I toiled with the most. So yeah, let's punch it, Yola.
Oh, we're going north.
So we are going north. We are going up into North Norway. So I don't know if we can zoom in to see the place name. I'm not sure. So yeah, or maybe zoom out for some context.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yep, sorry. Yep.
Just so we can kind of see where we are in the world, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
So we're on the kind of sort of northwest coast of Norway, like around the sort of fjords and that kind of stuff. So we're up there, inside the Arctic Circle. I'm going to point out, and then if we zoom in, this is a place called Hell in Norway.
It is there.
So it's a
Check it out,
town called Hell. And the reason I've gone for this as my answer to the most contrary named place because it is named Hell. But I have two reasons. One, really cold. Two, just looks really nice, to be honest.
It does look nice.
I think I've got. I think that's like the town hall, and that's fairly kind of indicative of the aesthetic of the whole place. It's like lovely sort of landscapes around there. It's a lovely sort of harbour and dock and all that kind of stuff, and just looks like a lovely little place. And I think they kind of play on their name as well. I think it comes from an old Norse name meaning cliff or overhang or something like that. There's a dog.
Cool. It's got like a little north. It's got like a Hollywood side.
Some jumps. That's weird.
Some could argue that is hell to them, like their own personal hell to be in cold ass Norway.
Like it.
That's all right. I just glows.
There's this big neon sign over the top. So yeah, it's based on an old Norse word. So it's not actually related to our interpretation of the word hell, obviously, but they very much play up to it now for tourists. But to all intents and purposes, very cold and
video.
Very pleasant.
Very pleasant to be there.
See, that's great, but I've got a counterpoint to that. Hell, where it comes from. Hell, however, it comes from the Norse. Hell, as in the word, comes from the Norse mythology. It comes from Helheim. There is no mention of hell in the Bible whatsoever. Helheim is an icy, cold place. It is a frozen. If you played God of War, Helheim, that's where it comes from, and it's a cold place. Hell. Muspelheim is what would be our version of hell. The fireplace, the fire giants.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, how dare
Luke, what you got?
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, mine's garbage. This
Right.
is absolutely garbage.
Luke Williams. We're going to Luke Williams's now. We are zooming. In what direction, Luke Williams? There we go. We're zooming off to.
Like across the pond.
Looks like America again. Is it?
It is. It is. So this is a town in America, in Hunt County, Texas. The place is called Cache.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. Sorry.
And Cache is a completely unincorporated town. It doesn't have a Walmart. It doesn't have a Subway. It doesn't have a Starbucks. It doesn't have anything of the sort. It is so unincorporated, it is so remote that you cannot find pictures of this place. You can't find a map. There is not a website. There's a Facebook page with about 4 posts. So my addition simply is that a place called Cache has none of it.
Cache Church of Christ is quite funny there. Cache Church of Christ.
Like it.
Literally, that is it. It has none of it. It's unincorporated, so there are no companies. There's nothing there. Everything that is there is local. It's
surely a form of commerce going on, though, even if it's not.
Yeah, it's going to be all
capital.
local, but there's no cash there. You see, it's not a town worthy of investing in. If any of you have seen Parks and Rec, that was a story point at one point, becoming an unincorporated town. It's and this is unincorporated. So Cache in Hunt County, Texas.
It's got Todd's Garage. Todd's Garage is on the maps. I'm glad to see Todd's making it. Good job. Yeah, and with that, I think we can discuss this point.
Yeah. I think my personal favourite is Yolla's. It's a cool story about the nifty, especially and given that Google Maps is our sponsor.
I think, give them a shout out, aren't we?
What was yours again, Yolla? What was yours again?
The Torrington Place, a place that isn't a place. It's a trap settlement. It's a traps town. There's a lot of them in London specifically because a lot of London specific maps steal blatantly from Google. So Google make a lot of like phantom settlements, like pretend towns.
So
there's an excellent YouTube series called Map Men, that talk about a lot more about
fantastic.
this, about trap towns and trap cities, and they actually
Plug
drive
other
around
channels.
London pointing them out. Yeah, plug them. They're great. I have to. Jay Foreman's fantastic. I thought that was my general idea, was like a trap town. I just thought like it'd be really interesting to sort of like show that there's like it's a contrary place in that it's got a place name on a map but it's not there. And then I found Torrington Place, a place that had place in its name that wasn't a place. And I was like, okay, that's
Thanks,
like,
having the place in the
gotta
name.
go for
If it didn't have the word place in it, I would argue.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Argument
It was an idea, and I couldn't think, and I found a lot of them, and I was like, I can't really do anything with this, and I was going to move on before I found Torrington Place, and I thought, okay, I've got it there. But yeah.
I feel it's a toss-up between mine and yours, but I don't think mine is strong enough to...
Whoa. I mean, I think I'd say yours, mine, and Adam's are pretty similar, really. There's things you can challenge on it, as we found with your Helheim.
I don't know. Christmas
spiel.
Island's a push, though, because it was
Christmas
discovered on
Island's a push,
Christmas.
Billy.
Sorry, but I love you.
I quite like Christmas Island.
I like Hell and Cash. I genuinely like Hell and Cash. I like Christmas Island as well, fundamentally, but I think like the fact that it was discovered on Christmas is a hindrance to you. If it was just called Christmas, like completely haphazardly, I would agree more with yours. But the fact that it was discovered on Christmas gives it sort of like a relevance to Christmas, meaning that the name isn't contrary enough in my mind.
The fact that they spend cash isn't.
Yeah, the fact that Cash has got a whistle stop, whistle stop, Hobby Depot, Texas Power Sports, got motorcycles, got ATVs. Blackjack disposal.
But it says it's
U-Haul, it's got a U-Haul. Yeah, that's fine.
Corporation town.
I can understand that. I see where you're coming from. It doesn't have like sort of like big cash.
It doesn't have. It's an unincorporated town.
I liked Adams until Luke shot on it. So.
I'm sorry, Adam. As soon as it was in, you told me it was in Norway and it was called Hell. I was like, oh no.
I want to see like where the nearest Walmart is to this place. And it's a while away. I'll give it to you. It's up the road, but it's a while away. It's a while away. If I can show, I can.
It's only a county. It's not a.
So Cash is here, and the Walmart is here. So you can see at the top there. So that's the Walmart.
But that's quite
money's
deep
no
down.
good here.
Those very
it's a very and there's another one there. But there's another one.
I feel like Torrington Place not being a place is
Seals perhaps plus the story there. Plus the I like the angle as well from the
there's good spiel. Good spiel.
Cool. So excellently done, guys. Well done. I feel like we answered a majority of our questions. I feel like maybe some of them not quite definitively, and I think next time we can drive home the fact that if we definitively answered the question or not. But in this first instance, I think it was a very good foray into a map game, and a good map game to all of you. Good map game, guys.
Good map game.
Good map game. And if we want to give a round of applause, because remember, this is a scientific endeavour. There are no winners and losers. There are only questions and answers. And questions... No, Luke, don't say that. No. We couldn't have done it without you. You are the inventor of map game, and as such, you are a winner in and of yourself.
And I lost my own game.
No, you didn't.
Thoroughly across the board at every level.
You were just... I don't know... You will argue that mythical thing with me later on, and maybe I'll yield.
No. The dice, the board's been set. We've had an outside invigilator have their comment, and they said that Phil won, and I will eat that, bitter as it might be.
I'll take that. Right, I've got to go anyway, guys.
So. Yeah. Bye, guys.